clean this little situation. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. My bad. My bad. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay. Had to get a little right. Had to get right a little bit. My glasses do look a little dirty, but we're gonna work it out today. We're gonna work it out today. Yeah, hold on. I don't want the lips looking too shiny. You ain't trying to be out here, you know. It's rules. You heard? It's rules. It's rules to this modesty. You ain't know. It's rules to this modesty. It's rules. It's deeper than the headscarves. It's deeper. It's deeper than a long skirt. It's deep. It's deep. Okay? There's rules to this modesty. What's up, y'all? Welcome to EFP Media. Hold on. Welcome to EFP Media. I am the host of this channel, Elviria Valdez, and here we explore faith, wellness, personal growth with a little bit of journaling in there. And we also just be out here just talking that talk, just talking that talk. And I was up here laughing at myself because I was like, okay, thinking about the different angles that I wanted to kind of guide the conversation today. So I have a tight schedule. And as always, I want to just kind of hit the marks. I have my notes here, but I wanted to clean my glasses before I get started and allow, the notification to go out and more people to be aware of what is taking place up over here on this YouTube channel. I don't know. Yeah, so hey Olet, we want to make sure, so I had to put the bouncer at the door, which means I have it on subscriber mode only. And a lot of the major YouTube channels, they use that as a buffer so that you don't have anybody that's on the channel, they done sat there for at least 5 to 10 minutes before they're able to even speak to us. Okay? So before you're able to even speak to us, you're going to have to sit back there for a little bit and learn the vibe. All right? So the reason why I put that on, I want you to sit in the back and understand how we do things, how we talk. So before you can even speak, you got to wait in line. The bouncer is at the door. You have to wait in line. Elviria know me, Ann. Are you subscribed? No? Well, you have to wait in line. You have to wait in line. Nothing I can do about it. I run a tight ship over here. This establishment does not invite dusties. Anyway, let me close these apps out in the background before my app close out while we on the live. So one more thing I gotta do, y'all. Hold on. What is the big eyes about? Y'all be confusing me with the big eyes. I'll be like, what is that? So anyway, guys, good morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We are day 2 into January. I'm still working on the January prompts for those of you that want to do some journaling. So being that we are at the top of the year, I definitely want to start off like really strong on providing journal prompts and stuff like that. The only thing is, it's like I just don't want to get so, I don't know. I don't want to get so like deep to the point, like, it may be moments where like some of the questions may get repeated, and honestly I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because how you answered maybe 2 months ago may be different in how you will answer today. So that's something that I have to keep in mind. But anyway, I want to keep the video under an hour because I have things to do and I need to get out of here. So I wanted to finish working for the day before I started the live, and then I have some other things that I need to be getting done. So thank you to everyone for being here. Once again, I am Elvira Valdez, and I'm the host of this channel. And here we explore faith, wellness, personal growth, and a little journaling in here. And today we are talking about the dangerous power of insecurity. We've discussed insecurity on the channel before. However, in addition to that, I wanted to kind of just like start the year off with us acknowledging and having awareness of the things that where we need to be working on. All right. Now, I'm not saying that anyone on this live or me as the host is insecure, but sometimes I think we look at insecurity as a very linear point of view, when honestly insecurity has different layers. And I'm not sure what we're gonna like. I'm not sure if I'm gonna turn this into a series and stuff, because sometimes, many of us just look at insecurity as, you being insecure about another woman or another man, or coveting. And it is a big conversation. Yes, Olette says yes, insecurities is a big umbrella. Exactly. So there's many different nuances to insecurity, and sometimes many of us just look at it from one lens. I was talking to one of my sisters, and I said, many of us think that being humble is just from a materialistic point of view, but being humble has many layers as well. Just because you may be humble about the things that you own, you may have some non-humble ways in other areas of your life. So therefore, it's different levels to acknowledging who you are and growing in that way. And it is never for us to be perfect. It's, of course, of course, we are called. Hey, Jasmine, good morning. Good afternoon. I don't know why I wanted to be morning so bad. My goodness, that's like the fourth time I've done that so far. This is like the fourth time I've done that since 3 o'clock. So my bad. Hey, Janet Bell. Jan, thank you so much. I love it when you do that. You and Stacy do like the post, the paste thing. But I was reading what I already know what you wrote for me. But when we were on Brother Seek Holiness page, I was reading what you wrote for his, and I was like, I was laughing. I was like, that is so funny. So yes, your creativity is cool. So hey, Jasmine, hey, Janet Bell, hey, Olette, and hey, everybody that's in the background. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all double tap the screen, double tap before you leave, okay? So I wanted to discuss the dangerous power of insecurity. Happy New Year. Hey, Nikisha. Nikisha, girl. See, this is why I don't be going live. Girl, Nikisha, everybody is like, no, just in regular conversation. Now that I got you on the line, Nikisha, girl, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody on the line. But I have been talking to a couple of sisters since the new year. And yeah, I love Nikisha's personality. I don't know if it's because like she's Canadian or she has Caribbean parents, but like Her sarcasm and dry humor, I just love it. I just love it. Like, I can see how, and you can let me know, Nikisha, like some people can be a little put off, but like I see it as like that's just your personality, and I love it. Like I love it so much. You're so funny to me. But anyway, so sis, I have been communicating with a couple of the sisters, and they had just in regular communication just mentioned like, yeah, we haven't seen Sunday in a minute, and I just hope that everything is fine. And you know me, I'm like, oh girl, he fine. His not that I know anything, but I'm just like, oh girl, his wife be around, she here, you know, like everything is good. Everything is good. I don't know if everything is good, girl. I've been telling everybody everything is good with y'all. He good. You know, he working, he being a family man, he handling his business. I said, his wife said to me that he took a little break and stuff, so he's coming back. Girl, I don't know. I just be spreading all the positivity, okay? So that's what I'm glad you on the line, girl, because I've been meaning to send you a message and let you know that, girl, the sisters is looking for the content, okay? Now, if he can hear me or if he can't, you let him know that the sisters is looking for the content. So it's 2026. Come on, bro. We need some more. All right? Call me up. I'm ready for my testimony. All right? So hit me up. Hit the line. I'll come on. And I'm pretty sure he has plenty. I'm pretty sure there are many saints that would like to come on. But anyway, sis, you know, many of the sisters that I have been communicating with did notice that it has been a pause on the I Thrive podcast. And I said, you know, I was like, oh, girl, he fine. He fine. His wife be around, child. They fine. They over there living their life, honey. They living their life. They got snow, child. He got snow to shovel. He got kids to pick up and work to do. He'll be around again. So that's it. You said, yes, he's fine. He just took a break. Pray for him. We will, sis. All right, y'all heard that? Y'all heard that on EFP Media. His wife said he's fine. He's fine. He just took a break. Pray for him, okay? And then she's laughing at me. I said, because they got snow. I'm like, girl, they got snow. You know, he got a shovel. He got kids to take care of. He got all of this stuff going on, child. He'll be back. He'll be back, y'all. He'll be back. So it's a beautiful thing. And it's so funny because this whole time I'm connecting with Nikisha, and you know, sometimes I'm a person who's a little absent-minded. Hey, Stacy, I'm a little absent-minded in a lot of my things. So while I can be a very detailed person, and while I can pick up on subtleties, sometimes there are things that kind of just go over my head. So when Nikisha's in the chat and it literally says her first and last name, I'm not putting two and two together who her husband is. It was not until I was just on Facebook going through my stories, and then I saw her with the I Thrive podcast shirt, and then I saw the little boys, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And then it was like ding, 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 ding. And child, I was like, girl, we was in the DMs she was cracking up at me. She said, girl, I know she probably said that girl is crazy and she is off the chain. But you know what, y'all can't do nothing but help but love me. That's all y'all can do but love me and pray for me. That's it. All right, let's get into the content. Shasmin, she said, yes, Brother Sunday came across my mind during prayer yesterday, and I just started praying for you guys, sis Nikisha. Amen. See, girl. See, that's what I love. We be having each other's back, man. Stacy says, I'm working and listening. Blessings to you, sister. No worries. Thank you so much. We got Olette in the chat and we got Jan in the chat. So if you got to chill on modding and stuff, no worries. All right. So shout out to everyone. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody. If you're in the background, you don't have to speak, but can you please double tap the screen? All right. So I'm praying everyone is doing well today. I do have my notes. And do you know, before we get started, y'all, do you know somebody left a comment? I deleted it. I don't like negative comments on my channel. I'm not one of the brothers. You can go to one of the brothers' channels, you know, Seek Holiness, Tony Harvin. You can go over there to them and you can see people leave negative comments and they just leave them out there. Not me. You leave a negative comment, it's getting deleted. I'm going to delete it. We don't need that negativity. I read it. I don't agree. I deleted it. This is my channel. I only have positive comments. Well, what about free speech? You can have it, but it's my channel and I'm going to delete it. So you can say whatever you want to say, but it will get deleted. So anyway, this fool gonna leave a comment talking about she's reading. She's not even, those aren't, it was something like I'm reading notes or a cue card or something like that, because I kept looking at my computer and I was just like, first of all, the big names, Oprah, Ricky Lake, shoot, even the bottom feeders but have big names, Jerry Springer, had cue cards. Who you thought wrote the content? The talent? No, sweetie. The producer produces the show and give them the content to know what to say, when to say it. Oh, you thought? You don't know what it takes to run a show. You have a director for a reason, and then you have multiple producers for a reason. The person that you see on the screen is the talent. So therefore, you're going to have notes. You're going to have cue cards. Did you think when you're watching a award show that those people are just standing up there and they're just, you know, they just know what to say and they have everything memorized? No, you goof. They're reading a teleprompter of content that a producer prepared. Yeah. And guess what? Your favorite singer? They're singing lyrics to a song they did not write. Whoa! They just put their name in there. That's why when they be on stage, they be forgetting the words to the song. How you gonna forget the words to the song I don't know, as Tina Turner said, I know the song to the word, I know the song, I know the lyrics to the word, child can't even say it. Oh, she said, I know the words to the song, Ike. I wrote it. They not writing it. So they don't know. They got to have it memorized. So they don't be writing their rhymes or their songs or the lyrics. So to the little gremlin who left the comment talking about she reading off notes, you better get in line. See, over here, I am the talent, the producer, and the director. So therefore, we run the show, and this is what I do. So yes, I do have notes, okay? Because as y'all can see, I can go off on a tangent many times. I just did it, 18 minutes, okay? And stop putting them big eyes, y'all. Put the laughing emoji. Y'all using the big eyes. Stop using the big eyes. I feel like y'all calling me crazy. Stop it. Oh my God. Anyway, so what you say? You said just how you treat your house. Unwanted guest boot. Yep, they get the boot. You said, oh wow, Ricky Lake. There's a name I haven't heard in ages. Yeah. You said, tell them, sis. You said, ha ha ha, sis, you got big eyes in the title. They say they have multiple meanings. Yeah, you know. Hi, you said what I missed? Nothing. We just getting started. All right. No, we don't even know you. Do we know them? How you doing? I don't think I know you. I don't think I know you. Oh, y'all, that's somebody little baby. That's somebody little baby, y'all. Leave Ace to go alone. He's somebody baby, child. He probably 10. Where your mama at? Where your mama at? Where's your mother? All right. So, in all seriousness, when I say dangerous, I'm not here to make it to be dramatic. But it is a subtlety that we need to be aware of. All right. So, when I say it's a dangerous thing, insecurity, the first of all, insecurity has much power. Insecurity has been things that has allowed people to commit homicides, suicides, things. Ooh, Lord, sorry. I hope I can. So, insecurity has had the power to do great things in people's lives, especially create some people to no longer be here with us. So this is something where, initially it may come off as looking harmless, and you may say in general conversation like, oh my God, you're so insecure. But at the root of it, we want to have a desire to make sure that we are paying attention to certain things that is taking place in a person that we love's life, and that we are, just being mindful. And another thing that I'm noticing is that we have to be mindful in how we react to people and what they're dealing with mentally before we just go off the hinges and just start talking reckless. All right. So I have here, and I want to discuss like at first, like what insecurity really is and what it isn't. So insecurity is not something that's always loud. It's typically very subtle, as I mentioned before, and it's not always obvious. Now, to the outside, it may not be obvious, but if you are someone who's married or being courted, or the people that are close to you, they may be able to sense your insecurities related to another person because of the way that you talk about the person, the way that you react when the person's name is brought up, and then they're paying attention to your body language and the subtleties and how you communicate, and they may say to themselves like, this is a little off. Are you insecure? Sometimes insecurity can also look like overthinking. It can also look like people pleasing and the needing of reassurance all the time. Have you ever met someone who you felt and everyone else around you felt like this person was very attractive? They're like, wow, you got it going on. However, the more you got to know that person, you saw that they are always seeking validation. They always need reassurance. They want you to tell them all the time how attractive they are to you, or do you like me? It's like every moment is like, oh, I need your validation. I need your reassurance. And it's not necessarily about you. It's more so that the validation and the reassurance feeds them in a way that we're not even aware of. So while it may be you that they're seeking it from, it could be the next person on the next day, and so on and so forth. So it's something that I feel like insecurity is one of them things that we really have to start paying attention to. And then the number one way, and the things that we see in a lot of people, is when it shows up as jealousy, comparison, control, coveting. Those are things that we typically associate insecurity with. But one of the things that I mentioned before is one of the three things that I mentioned prior to this one, because this one is obviously obvious, is when you overthink, when you people please, and needing reassurance all the time, it could be a sign of insecurity. All right. So insecurity is that inner voice inside of each and every one of us that says that I'm not enough. I'm going to be replaced. I have to prove myself. And if I don't hold tightly, I will lose this. Now, we could see this manifest in people who have an anxious style, relationship style attachment, We talked about attachment styles in later videos before, so you can go back to that video where I talked about a avoidant attachment style and then an anxious attachment style, and the two are very different, but they're also like magnets. They pull each other together. So you'll have someone who is dominantly an avoidant and someone who is dominantly anxious, and they just fuse together, and then they break apart, and then they come together, and they break apart and they come together, and it becomes addictive in the mind of both of them, because both of them are providing each other this dopamine release of the toxicity. So a lot of times we look at people and we say, oh, they're in a toxic relationship. This is where you're getting this dynamic where you have an avoided individual and an anxious attachment, and they just keep coming back together, separate, coming back together, separate. In order for that type of relationship to actually work, both individuals have to be aware that there is something taking place that needs to be worked on. If only one of the individuals is willing to work on the situation, it's not really going to go anywhere, because the other person is not being treated, and the other person, and when I say treatment, I'm not just talking about medication. Treatment can be looking like coping mechanisms, or doing things that pulls you out of the mindset of the attachment style that you are comfortable with. All right. So everything I just named, as far as I'm not enough, I'm going to be replaced, I have to prove myself, if I don't hold on tightly, I'll lose this. Those are anxious attachment styles. And then sometimes the danger is when insecurity gets unchecked, it starts making decisions for you. So for me, insecurity is considered an emotion. It's considered an emotion, and when you feed it, when you feed that emotion, you make irrational decisions, and sometimes you can make lifelong decisions on temporary emotions, and that emotion could be insecurity. And then, as our sister Olette has mentioned, insecurity is like the main word in this umbrella, and then under the umbrella we have other little different nuances that can go into it. So let's move into how insecurity quietly controls behavior. So this is where we really have to take things seriously and start looking at ourselves when we are dealing with our own insecurities. This content is not for us to look at other people who are insecure. This content is for us to look at ourselves as being insecure. And though you may be a very confident person in, let's just say, your aesthetic, at the end of the day, you may have insecurities in other places, and these things can manifest in other ways. Okay. So insecurity can make you stay when you should leave any situation, chase validation instead of alignment, accept, accept, insi- accept inconsistencies because you're afraid of loss. You can over explain yourself, shrink yourself to be accepted, and react emotionally instead of responding wisely. So one of the things, and I always use myself for an example, one of the things that I notice is that when people initially meet me, they love who I am. However, the more they get to know me and they see that, wow, you know, okay, let me just use compliments that I've gotten from people. You're wise beyond your years. You're very smart. You have a good speaking voice. You're good at YouTube. You can captivate people with what you say. So these are compliments that I have gotten from other people. With that being said, when I meet someone, and let's just say, for an example, I meet a sister and she's just going off of my social media presence, right? So initially, I before doing the shorts, guys, I used to just do long form content primarily, right, to get my watch hours up and stuff. So when I started doing shorts and they're good, I said, "Ooh, I should post this on Instagram." So I started taking my Instagram, and now I'm using TikTok. So I started taking my Instagram and posting my content over there. And I think that some people did not know that I had like this social media presence on YouTube. So then, I started to see less engagement or less support, right? Then let's say this, okay, so it's like, okay, you get to know me and you're just like, okay, and then you find out, oh, she has a YouTube channel. Let me see what she says. Oh, wow, look at the way she speaks, all of these things. And then it goes into, oh, she also has a skincare brand. Oh my gosh. And then when you have, someone who's, saying positive things about the skincare brand, and people have always said to me, I like the butter like over the phone, but then when you actually have someone, like back in the day, Life with Paulette would go on her channel and talk about growing with legend. And then, we had Seek Holiness, who continues to promote the product and let us know that he actually uses it and he likes it. That type of positive reinforcement, you all as sisters showing up and stuff like that. And you think people aren't watching you, but they are. It could be 5 of you in the chat having a conversation, but then it can say that 20 something people are watching. All right. So therefore, it lets you know that there are some people watching that's not even saying anything. So you never know who's really watching you. But I'm using this all for context. Okay. So therefore, going back to the initial point that I was making, when someone meets me, they do like me. But the more they get to know me and they see the light in me, they don't want to deal with me as much as they did initially, because the spirit of insecurity, or I don't want to say coveting, and I don't want to say jealousy. I've never been a type of person, and it's one of the things that one of my sisters used to always say to me, oh, that's jealousy, that's jealousy, that's jealousy. I have a hard time looking outside of myself and seeing someone else being jealous of me, because I'm in it and I know this ain't it. Okay, you don't want to be over here. So I have a hard time looking at myself in that way. However, people have said, oh, Elvira, that is a form of jealousy. And I'm like, oh my God, oh, Sister Stacy, oh, thank you. Oh my God, another one? What the world? Did you do that on purpose? Do I need to refund you back? Did you do that on purpose? You sent it back to back. Girl, I got a little ADHD now. You can't be throwing me off too much, right? All right, let me get back to it. So with that being said, the more your light starts to shine, the one thing people loved about you, they will start to resent you for. And resentment is how we can lead into insecurity. All right? No. Insecurity leads to resentment. So one of the things, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I said shrink to be accepted. I said shrink to be accepted. Over explaining yourself. So let's just back up so you can follow where I'm at and not think that I'm just up here, boasting about myself, because I'm not. All right. So insecurity can make you stay where you need to leave, stay where you should leave, chase validation instead of alignment, chase accept inconsistency because you're afraid of loss, over explain yourself, shrink to be accepted, and react emotionally instead of responding wisely. Very, very important. Thank you so much, sister. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all of you that support the channel, support GWL. You all have a very, very special place in my heart. Just alone liking the video, getting 25 likes, like that's big for me. I'm noticing that the views on the channel are going up, and the beautiful thing about it, guys, is that I'm so transparent with you all about the process. And I tell you guys, like, there'd be times when no one was watching me on live and you wouldn't have known it because I was still talking the way that I'm talking now. And now I look at it and I'm like, man, like, there's 9 people in here right now and there's 26 likes. So at some point, 26 people have liked this video in passing of just coming through and saying, oh, Elvira's live, let me like, or, oh, I don't know who this girl is, but I like what she's saying, let me like. And then, so anyway, I really do appreciate you all, and may God be the glory for all that we're talking about. So one of the things that I sometimes struggle with is shrinking myself to be accepted. And that is something that I still struggle with. So while I've had a Growing with Legend skincare brand since 2020, a lot of people don't know that until I say something about it, because I don't want to bring a lot of attention to myself. That's really what it is about. On my Instagram, I'm like, oh, I don't want to bring a lot of attention to myself. I do Instagram, I do YouTube, but I don't want to bring a lot of attention to myself. So that is the mindset that, I've had. And I've noticed, some people aren't as engaging with me as they were initially. And then when there is content that is, really good, they're doing the minimum of engagement, like, and I don't know if y'all read into stuff like this, and I shouldn't, and I'm working on it, but this may be once again an insecurity. When someone can, when the person knows how to utilize Facebook as far as creating a reaction, right? So you have someone that can like, but then, everyone else is loving the post, but then this one person comes in and hit the like. I don't know. To me, it's not that deep, but sometimes I feel like it kind of is, especially when you know how to hit the heart button. You know what I mean? Like people like my mama and my daddy, they don't know. Like I've tried to show them that you could do more than just like, and they just look at me like, girl, I'm not doing all of that. I like the post, not get on about my face. You're not getting no heart. You're not getting no laughing. You ain't getting none of that. Okay, you're gonna get this like, and I'm going on about my business. But when you have someone who's in there, who knows how to do the function, I don't know. But then again, like I said, I don't try to, that might be, see, once again, here's a live example of overthinking. All right. Now I'm overthinking because what am I doing? Seeking validation from who? Someone who I shouldn't even be seeking validation from. You see, this is a live opening of how we interact in our brains about the people around us, because now we're reading into something that don't need to be read into. Okay, so therefore shrinking myself to be accepted is something that I struggle with, because I always knew that if I gave 110%, I will do very well. And now that I am in my 30s, I am not choosing to shrink myself anymore. It is what it is at this point. This is who I am. This is what we're doing. And this is how I'm showing up for myself. And if you don't want to be around me because you think that whatever your reason then may be, then that's just on you. That don't got nothing to do with me. That's a you thing, not a me thing. Okay. So that's a perfect example of insecurity. Perfect. All right. But the beautiful part of all of this is that you can love God, you can be healing, you can be growing, and you can still let insecurity to drive the wheel if you're not self-aware. I just showed you a live example of that. You can be married to the man who you love and he love you, and you will still be insecure if you feel that 5011 Sisters is walking up to your man and saying hi. What you saying hi for? But it's just it's just how it is. He coming home with you. He paying your mortgage. He got kids with you. You understand? He warming up your car. But insecurity will creep me in because you know that This man is known, and it'll creep up in, and 50, 11 women in your man face talking about hi, 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 hi. And you looking at them like bye, 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 bye. And I ain't talking in sync. Go on about your business. And don't be hitting my man up on no messenger DM talking about, it was so nice to see you. You don't need to say that. Back. Anyway, insecurity. Insecurity. You're gonna have security running up. You need security? Nah, insecurity. Let's see what Olette said. Olette says social media definitely helps to mold this type of thinking, being over analytical, looking at how another person is treating someone else compared to yourself. Insecurity is a beast. Whoo! Can we sit with that for a minute? Can we sit with that for a minute? Not an hour or another day. But for a minute. Olette said, social media definitely helps to mold this type of thinking, being over analytical, looking at how another person is treating someone else compared to yourself. Insecurity is a beast. And it is. It will have you saying things like, dang, why they interacting with her, or they're hearting their posts, or all of these things, and then they're not doing that for me. Have you ever thought it's because they didn't see it? And that's something I have to be mindful of too, because I decided to make a new Facebook. I only have 200 and something friends. They may have 4,000. They may have 1,000. Matter of fact, they may have 500. And either way, they have more than you. Therefore, your post may not be a post that they see. You also have to think about the algorithm and how it plays on us. So if I'm interacting with Olette a lot on social media, if I'm interacting with Janabelle a lot or Stacy a lot, they're going to show me more of Stacy's, Janabelle, and Olette's content, because I'm liking it, I'm commenting. It's going to push that into my feed, because those are the people I'm interacting with the most. And the people that I'm not interacting with as well, they're not going to push that into my feed. I may not see their posts until 2 to 3 days later. And then that's another thing. Sometimes we be scrolling and we'll see a post and you like it, and then you realize that you haven't, this is from 2 days ago. Another thing that I just noticed is with the algorithm and social media, and this ties into insecurity because of the comment that that Olette has made, and it's very true. And this is where we're providing facts to let you know that it's not like that. Sometimes you're just overthinking, you're being over analytical, and you just need to move on, because until a person comes to you and say, I have an issue or I have an aunt with you, and have that conversation, you should be operating like nothing in this world has happened. I don't care if your discernment is like the yellow little emoji with the exclamation point that I got on this video, and your discernment is like bing, 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 alert, 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 alert. It don't matter. Until that person say, I got a problem with you, you need to be ready. You can't sit. The reason why is because though your discernment is letting you know that there is danger, there's something that you need to be aware of, I'm not saying ignore your discernment. Definitely have the discernment, but you hold that close to you and you move accordingly. But you don't make an issue out of no issue because you think, and then, because do you really think if you go up to someone and you say, oh, I think you got a problem with me because so and so and so and so. You really think they're going to say, yeah, I got a problem with you? You think that's what they're going to say? If you confront someone about their flaws, do you really think they're going to say, yeah? No. No matter how much they feel, no matter how much no, they not. They're going to have you looking stupid, making you think you tripping. So why do that? Just trip by yourself. You know, until they come to you and say, I got an issue with you, you don't even know there's an issue. You might go home in your little journal and you're going to be like, you know what? Let me go on and write in here how I feel about this sister or brother because I don't like the way they was looking at me. But I'm going to write it in my journal and I'm going to talk to God about it. And I'm going to ask God, reveal whatever is in their hearts. And may you deal with them so that they can do right. Not just by me, but for themselves. Because if they don't like me, then it's something in them that's causing them not to like me. And it means that they're not in balance with you because you are love. So if they not liking me, they not in balance with you. So therefore, Father, reveal what's in their heart unto themselves, not me. And let them deal with themselves, not me. But when I see you, hey! When I see you, what's up? When I see you, hey! You call it fake all you want. I don't know. Being fake might get me into the kingdom a little faster. You understand? When I'm sitting up here worried about reading too deep into your comment, I'm just going to delete it. I am going to delete it. I don't care if you are a brother or sister in Christ. If you say something I don't like, I delete it. It no longer exists. It did not happen. The devil is a liar. And he is not welcome here. Oh, what's up, TNT? Holiness After Hours is in the building. What's up? Listen, so we done went off on a whole tangent. I don't know. Anyway, so insecurity doesn't just affect how you see yourself. It affects how you treat others as well. All right. So insecurity in relationships. So first we talked about what insecurity is and what it's not. And now we're talking about how we did talk about how insecurity quietly controls our behaviors. And now we're moving into insecurity in relationships, romantic, family, and friendships. Let me scroll up and get up to date on the chat, but let me see if there's any other comments that I should read before we head into the next topic point. She said it's a learning process. Yes, the algorithm does adjust. And she says, speak what you know, a reminder first to self. Amen. Amen. She says, Minister Brandon on a couple of occasions has spoken about creating scenarios in our mind. It was so powerful. Yes, it is. Shout out to Brother TNT, Holiness After Hours. You all, he has a YouTube channel. He's one of our brothers from the West Coast, so he does go pretty early. Pretty late in the day, in the evening or night, and early in the morning. And when I say early, y'all, I mean it like you can get online and you can see him live at 12, 1, 2 in the morning because he's on the West Coast and I'm on the East, so it's a 3-hour difference. Nonetheless, shout out to Brother TNT, and he has Holiness After Hours. You all check them out. He has good content over there. All right, we're all caught up in the chat. All right. So insecurities in relationship and family and friendship. So we want to talk about relationships for a second because we can't live life without it. All right. Life, it is what it is at this point. And insecurity can turn love into anxiety. All right. Love into anxiety. It can turn curiosity into suspicion, and it can turn communication into an interrogation. Who was over there? Who is that? Well, what sister name is that? Oh, well, what they say? Or who that brother is? Why you always watching his content? What you doing over there? Who you out to dinner with? Who you over there? If you don't get out my it can turn closeness into control. I was in a relationship with a person who wanted to be so close to me, and honestly, um to you know honestly, I thought, oh, he just loves me. No, girl, the boy is insecure. He want to control you. He want to know who over there. He want to be on the phone with you all night to know there ain't nobody else there. And you would have thought that I lived so many hours away from this person. I lived 30 minutes from this man. And he would want to be on the phone with me all night long. Boy, you around the corner. You are around the corner. We don't need to be on the phone all night. Hey, Variah, we don't need to be on the phone all night. So they can make closeness turn into control. Now, there is a difference. There is a difference, and there's a thin line. All right. Most men love language is physical touch and closeness. But when that closeness turns into, I need to know where you're at. Let me see your location. What are you doing? Who you with? Who over there? Why you watching this? Why you doing this? Then those are insecurities. Okay. When you can't even talk on the phone to your cousin, if you talk to your dad too much, this person is feeling insecure. Oh, why you got to talk to your dad so much? Are you on drugs? Why talk to who? For what? This because I've been in that situation. Because my daddy ain't going nowhere. My mama ain't going nowhere. But me and my daddy, we talk all the time. What up, Patrick T? Girl, can't even smile at your phone, but I don't know. I'm a little toxic. I'm a little like that, Jan. What the heck is so funny on that phone over there? Huh? What you laughing at over there? What you smiling and grinning at on that phone? Don't let me date no man with no glasses. Let me look through them glasses and see what's on that phone with the reflection on your glasses. Okay, I don't know, Jan. You just triggered me. I don't know, Jan. I'm a little guilty of that one. What the heck is so funny? You on FaceTime with me, but you grinning at that phone. Boy, I ain't said nothing funny. I ain't said nothing funny. What the heck is so funny? Okay. You better get them transitions and keep it moving. Exactly, brother TNT. I'm glad, I don't know, Jan. I don't know if I can own that one just yet. Brother looking at his phone, just a cock. What is so funny? Send me the reel. I want to laugh too. Okay? I want to laugh too. I love to laugh. Okay? I'm a little joke. I could be a little joke. I could be a little comedic relief every now and then. Send me the reel since it got you smiling so hard. Understand? Got your lips extra white because you just smiling, bruh. Let me see let me see it. Let me laugh too. We in this together. What's yours is mine. So I want to laugh too. Don't let me hear you having too much fun without me. Yeah, what is so funny? Okay, what is so funny? I need to know. But yeah, in a toxic way, that is something that could be a big thing. Now, yes, I am making a joke about it. Yes, I have felt that way before. Yes, especially when you are in a long distance relationship and you see, or just say, for instance, you're dating someone who is, well known, popular, influential, and they are, honestly, just people just always communicating with them, reaching out to them, liking their pictures, communicating in their messages, leaving comments, things like that is very important. So that way I have to check my own insecurity and realize that, hey, it may not be that big of a deal, but Variah just said this. She said it depends on the brother, and it is. This is complex. It is very important. It depends on the brother. is this brother loyal? Is he willing to be loyal? And as we know, as you know, our overseer teaches us, you know, infidelity, cheating, and things like that don't just start physically, it starts in the mind. So therefore, we have to be mindful of that as well. So as we move on, guys, because y'all make me laugh so bad. But let me read what TNT said before I get off this topic. He said, he says, do women feel some type of way with their significant other laughs too much at another woman? That is what we're talking. That would be something I would consider an insecurity, and it just depends on the type of brother, and it also depends on the type of sister, you know. So let's say, for instance, you know, there's someone like me. I'm naturally funny, and but you also know that Elvira is not available, right? So therefore, if I was a sister and my husband or my significant other was laughing at a female like Elvira, I would not feel that way. But to answer the question in short, yes, yes, women will feel away. I would feel away. Unless I, especially if I don't know that sister or that girl or that woman, or if I don't trust that woman, I would feel away. Yes, I would. So, but once again, that's insecurity. And it's okay. I'm not saying that the topics that we're having are not things that we all don't need to deal with. The point of it all is to be aware of it so that we can deal with it appropriately. But at the end of the day, we know that that is clearly a sign of insecurity. So therefore, you know, like I just owned, I said, girl, I don't know. I be getting a little jealous when you know, he be laughing at his mouth, smiling a little too hard on FaceTime. What the heck is so funny? You talking to me, I ain't said nothing in 40 seconds. What the heck is so funny? Then I just be looking at the phone. Like, what the heck is so funny? So, and it's sometimes insecurity can make us accuse people of things that they're not even doing because we're responding to fear and not facts. And I've learned that insecurity will have you fighting battles that don't even exist, exhausting yourself and damaging connections that might have been very healthy because you are insecure. The next topic here is that the cost of letting insecurity stay unchecked. And here's the part where many people don't want to talk about. So, insecurity will cost you your peace, your clarity, your emotional safety, your discernment. We talked about that. Your confidence in your time is something that we really have to pay attention to. And over time, it will have you living beneath your potential. We talked about that earlier as well. Because you're too busy worrying about being chosen or being liked instead of knowing you already are and who you are. And that's what causes it to be dangerous. It causes you to back away from sisters and brothers that could have been really helpful to you on your journey because you're insecure about their light, because their light shines on your darkness and you're not ready to deal with that yet. And that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. We just need to move accordingly. All right. So then healing insecurity doesn't mean pretending that it's not there. You know, I'm making a joke about it in the conversation, letting you guys know, like, hey, I get a little insecure too. Oh, I will. It don't matter. I'm a human being just like you. So I want to be clear about something, that healing insecurity does not mean acting unbothered. You know, sometimes people walk around with that nonchalant personality trait. I think that is the most toxic personality trait of them all. It does not mean being cold, shutting down emotionally, or pretending you don't care. That's not what it means. Healing insecurity means being honest about yourself with yourself. And it means asking the hard questions. Why did that trigger me? What am I afraid of losing? Where did this belief about myself come from? And am I reacting from truth or from fear? What replaces insecurity is going to be self-trust and identity. Are you hearing that nothing that I'm saying comes from an outside source? It's all coming from inside of you because you are responsible for your own security, not your wife, not your husband, you. When you're secure, you realize that your happiness is your responsibility, no one else's. The opposite of insecurity isn't arrogance. It's not pretending that you know everything. It's self trust, trusting in yourself. It's knowing I don't need to compete. I don't need to chase. I don't need to prove. I don't need to beg for consistency. And when you are secure, you move differently. You listen more, you react less, you walk away sooner, and you choose peace faster. All right. So I have some things here that I want to ask you guys a couple of questions. And is, while I'm about to go into another segment, I want you guys to be thinking about some of these questions and you can answer them for yourself if you want to. If you don't want to answer any questions, you don't have to, okay? So here are some live discussion questions that I wanted you all to kind of ponder on. And then I'm going to share something and then we're going to come back and see, and I'm going to read you all's comments and then we'll close out the show with some journal prompts that I have already written out for you all that watches this video. And you can screen record this so you can have the journal prompt questions available for you. So here's something that you can ask yourself, have you ever realized insecurity was driving a decision you made? What does insecurity look like for you personally? Do you think insecurity shows up more in your thoughts or your actions? And what has insecurity cost you in the past? And what helps you feel grounded and secure? So, one of the things that I was thinking about when I read that when you have self trust, it's knowing that you don't need to compete, you don't need to chase, you don't need to prove, and you don't need to beg for consistency. And immediately when I thought about that, I said to myself, one of the biggest things that I was insecure about with coming into holiness is the, I'm gonna be honest, the attraction of a potential husband or a man. And the reason why is because, we come in here, we're modest, we cover ourselves and we no longer can wear the makeup. We no longer can wear the lashes. We no longer can do the hair extensions, all of these things that we were taught that make us feminine and a woman, which are external values, are stripped away when you come into holiness. And you have to start doing the internal walk and the internal work. And that's where true femininity is born, when you start working internally on yourself. However, as a woman in holiness, we cannot ignore the fact that the women of the world still exist. And though a man may be in holiness, if you looked at the people that he watches on social media or the accounts that he follows, he may follow some worldly women. Though he praises the holy ones, though he loves him a holy woman, he's still a man. Okay, if he walks into Lowe's and Minister Harris always be saying that, he be like, "You going to Lowe's and it's the summertime." It be everything be moving, right? So we can't ignore that the women of the world still exist. So coming into holiness, it was one of those insecurities where I just felt like, okay, like insecure about. It's just honesty. And it's one of the things where I had to coach myself. And I had to say to myself, if a man of holiness chooses a woman of the world, then he was never meant to be with a woman in holiness. And that's just the bottom line. And the fact that we are in holiness and we should not be committing to fornication and things like that. You shouldn't be attached to a man to the point where you can't walk away because fornication has already taken place and now you're emotionally attached to someone that you shouldn't be, right? So therefore, I love that the courting process in holiness is outlined perfectly. But everyone's human beings, they're going to do what they want to do. So with that being said, those were one of the things that I was insecure about coming into holiness and stripping away the beauty aesthetic and stepping into being, whole and seen and loving myself to a point where I'm able to just own it. And if I am a beautiful woman in holiness, then there will be someone that's going to see me and love me for who I am, and they're going to appreciate all of my modesty and everything. So it's very, very important. I don't know what TNT talking about. I'm gonna have to scroll up, but all I saw was BBL. Let me scroll up. Woo! Let me scroll. Let me scroll up, honey. But it is difficult when you are in holiness and you know the women of the world are there, and you know that a man is a man, and though he may not want to wife something like that, it doesn't mean that something like that doesn't have his attention. Another thing that I have been kind of insecure about is, just acknowledging or being told that, maybe you're being courted by someone and they're like, I've never dated a woman that looks like you, or I've never been with a woman that is like you. And the moment of it all, it can create an insecurity, because it's like, okay, so what does that mean? For one, I do attract a lot of, foreign men, or I wouldn't say foreign like that, but like maybe let's say Caribbean breaded men. And I don't know why that is, but for the most part, I do understand that. So a lot of times, and then I have to think about the, where people are from. So like if you live in LA, it is so typical for you to see a man dating a woman, a non-black woman. Let's just leave it there. LA and Miami, places like that, are flooded with the Kim Kardashians of the world and the racially ambiguous woman, the non-black women. And then you have, then you have to think about social media. You got to think about athletes and the type of women that they wife up and be with. And typically those women do not look like me. I think LeBron and also Young Dolph was one of the people who, and I know there are many others. These are just two men that that's bringing to the forefront of my mind to speak on. Also someone like, 2 Chainz, but I think his wife is a little lighter than me. But the point is that you don't see women that look like me in the media married to men of stature and with money. A lot of these men marry racially ambiguous women. So those are things that can be an insecurity. Those are things that have been an insecurity. And I'm woman enough to own it and say it. I don't think that because I'm not racially ambiguous, I'm less as beautiful. I know that I am beautiful. However, I cannot ignore the fact that these attractions to these type of women do exist. And when you date someone who has continuously dated a racially ambiguous woman, it will make you think like, okay, so am I truly beautiful to this person? All right. So let's go to y'all comments and answer that question as I did my own answer. So let me see. I'm trying to scroll up so I don't miss anyone. Okay, so I read that with Brother TNT, and then, okay, don't laugh too much. Right, don't be doing too much. What's up, Patrick T? How are you? You said noted. Thank you, EFP and sisters in the chat. This is a good combo. You said you got to take a woman where she's at. It doesn't matter of her insecurities. Yeah, that's true, because you got insecurities too. You said got to acknowledge is there. Amen. Sister Stacy said, I used to be insecure when I first got into my marriage because my husband was very known at his church, and every woman, it seemed to come up to him and hug him, including his ex. Thank God for giving me the strength. Now, girl, sister. Whew. I'm gonna leave that there because and see, I'm the type of sister to say, how many of these women you done been with? And don't lie, because you're not about to have me up in this church looking stupid. Now, if you kick it with Keisha and you was hanging out with Monica and you took Susie to lunch, I needs to know. Because we ain't going to be at the sisterhood brunch and they looking at me and they think about the key and turn this into a reality TV moment telling me what they know about my man. Girl, what you know, I know too. And I still chose him. And guess what? He with me and not you. So, yeah, because I'm the type of sis that be like, I need to know everybody. If you even thought about courting a person, I need to know. I need to know. Luckily, this man don't be knowing half the people name that be coming up to him. So I'll be like, good. Don't you know they name? Keep it that way. Shoot. What you over here for? He busy. What you all in his face for? Back up off him. He got stuff to do. All right? But yeah, you got to pay for the strength. You really do. You said, in the words of the local minister, there's nothing wrong with knowing yourself. Amen, Olette. You said hugging the ex in the front of the wife is kind of wild, though. It's beyond wild. It's beyond wild. And see, I ain't trying to say nothing because I ain't trying to bring up no old feelings, but that is a little wild. You know, don't disrespect me. And we need to have boundaries. I understand. You took Monica to the fair. You got her little teddy bear. But back up. Back up. Jannabelle, where's your shoe? Get the shoe. Get the shoe, Jannabelle. Get the shoe. You understand? I don't got to go to every convocation. I'm going to have sisters in the back looking. You see what it is? You heard? You heard? Don't be hugging them when don't be hugging. You got to back up off him now. He married now. Don't be sending my husband no direct message talking about, I saw you. I didn't get a chance to speak. No, you right. You didn't. Back up. Girl, let me stop. I'm joking. Or am I? I don't know. We're going to have to get the ministers to preach on that. Let me sit in my request to Minister Lodge Thursday night. Confidence in marriage. Conversation we need to be talking about. Because I don't know what I got going on. I think I might be a little insecure, minister. I might need to talk to the apostle. I might need a little prayer, a little oil. All right, moving right along. See, Stacy, you done got it started, girl. You done got it started, okay? Because you had to pray for the strength. Because as soon as we would have got in that car, I would have had that flip-flop like Jannabelle got in that emoji. Pat, 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 pat. Don't you ever hug another woman in front of my face, especially you done been with her. I don't care if you took Monica to the fair, you got her little bear. I'm up in here now. Back up off my husband. That ain't just my boyfriend, that's my husband. Back up off my man. Whew, moving right along. Stacy, you done got it started. Girl. Child. Whew. All right. I don't know what to do. Variah says, I literally try to act unbothered because I don't like to feel the feelings. I feel if I ignore it, it'll go away. I need to work on that. Yeah. And like I said earlier, because I know you were late to the conversation. Like I said earlier, You don't have to let the person know that you're feeling away. Yeah, they might sense that your mood has kind of shifted a little bit, but try to strive to stay consistent and just move on. Typically, men, they're not like us. So while he may notice your energy has shifted, he typically doesn't change his energy if he is masculine. If he is a masculine man, he's not going to change his energy or his frequency according to your energy and your frequency. He will notice, but he more than likely is not going to say anything unless you just get out of control. Unless you just doing too much, then he'll say like, what's wrong? Or, oh, you're not talking to me. He'll try to make it into a joke or something. And then that should be your way to kind of come in and you know, so it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I do understand. So therefore, what I'm saying is that you have, when you feel a way about something, you don't necessarily have to take it to the person that you feel a way about. You could pray about it, you could talk to the Lord about it, you could journal about it, and sit with it a little longer with yourself. So therefore, you're a little bit more aware of where the emotion is coming from. Because one thing I'm learning is that I can't just go to people with my emotions. And it's not just a man, it's my sisters too. You know, I can't just go to my sisters with this big emotion and just give it to them. And then it's just like, oh, girl, I don't know what to do with this. And I don't want that. So therefore, I need to identify within myself what the issue really is, so that when my sister is being comforting or talking to me about it, I know how to navigate the conversation and not shut down and feel like I'm being attacked. So that's something that I would recommend for you. Absolutely says. So TNT says, that's who Holiness After Hours is, y'all, is brother TNT. And he says, as a man, I saw my insecurity as a weakness, and I had to deal with that, knowing that I am only as strong as my weakest link. Amen. And once again, that insecurity doesn't have to be something that, hey, Goyo, that insecurity doesn't have to be something that is spoken on, right? Because even as a woman, I can sense when my man is insecure about something. I'm not going to call him out for it because that's unnecessary. That's just, look, I'm the type of woman, the woman I am now. I ain't trying to bruise your ego if I don't have to. Now, if I got to humble you, I'm just going to pray to the Lord and let the Lord do it. But if I know my man is insecure about something, I'm going to notice it, but I'm not going to speak on it. So therefore, he'll come to terms with it, especially if I keep praying to the Lord and he calls himself a man of God. The Lord will deal with him accordingly. And that's one thing I've learned. If you are really dealing with a brother or sister in Christ and they are truly with God and working with God, when you pray to God about them, God will work through them and you will see it manifest. I was talking to my sister and she said she was praying, you know, that the Lord, that I reach out or communicate in some way, and it happened. The way that it came about was unorthodox. I didn't plan it. You know, I was just like, oh, I need to talk to someone. I need to talk to a Jamaican mom or a Jamaican auntie, or, you know, Jamaican who know how to cook. Okay. Cause I got this jerk sauce and I don't know what to do with it. Okay. I got to call a Jamaican, and I called her. But just the point of it all is that the way that it went about. So that's one thing too, guys, when you are truly dealing with a person or a child of God and they are truly working with the Lord and walking with the Lord, then you would not have to do too much for things to be kind of talked about or worked out. The Lord will work through them. Just keep praying. Okay. So, moving right along. So, Sister Shasmin says, as a woman who always has been skinny, even after having 4 babies, I've always felt insecure about not having a BBL. You know what, Shasmin? That's a real comment. Now I know why TNT said that, but that's a real comment. And we may joke and we may laugh, but we're not going to disagree, and we're not going to, and men, do not sit up here and pretend that the aesthetics of a woman with a round behind does not pique your interest. Okay. Don't sit up here and pretend that a woman with a nice little set of twins don't pique your interest. All right. So with women knowing that, it is natural for us to feel insecure about that. And no one is going to sit up here and make us feel otherwise about it. because we know that it's true. We know that's something that y'all like. And I can understand where Shasmin is coming from, because when I was younger, I had the same issue. I was just tall and slim. I never had the lanky look or lanky look. I never had that because my height is pretty proportioned, but I am tall. However, the proportion of my tallness is evened out. But I was skinny and I didn't have the curves like that. And I'm 30 something now, and I'm just now having a little curve, a little this, a little that. Okay, now I'm in modesty, and child, you got to cover that up. Okay, so I understand, sis. I do, especially when they follow or they see women like that, or they're in an environment that they see it, and they can. And most men say they don't like it. Most men say they don't like it, but it's not going to stop them from fornication. It's not going to stop them from fornication. They may not like it, the BBL that is, but it's not going to stop them from committing fornication. Because in a man's mind, when he sees a woman with a BBL, that's all he sees is the potential of fornication. Okay, so we should be good with that. Now, I ain't gonna hold you now. If a man is a man, and if he like his turkey to be dressed a little, a little this and a little that, then hey, before you say something, a man is a man. Man is a man. So, sister, the fact that you have your husband and you done gave him 4 beautiful children, girl, he love you for who you are, and he love you. He love it, girl. He done gave you 4 kids. Girl, he love you, girl. Okay, he love you. He love you, girl. So I'm glad, but I know you were just expressing yourself, and I know that may not be feelings of today, but thank you for sharing that with us. It opened up a very beautiful part of the conversation if you're still here in the background. So Olette is responding to Varaya, and she says the beautiful thing is that you're already aware, and awareness is such a good starting point already, sis. Be encouraged. Amen. He said facts, fornication create ties. Yes, it does. You said, she said, yeah, she says, I'm kidding, but it's the truth though. That's a real conversation, sis. So Patrick T says, men don't care about makeup, hair extension, eyelashes anyway. Y'all do that to compete with other women without knowing it. Men want women, not accessories. That's a very good comment, Patrick, and it is. I've heard men say that before, but then at the same time, I don't think you men really know what it looks like for a woman not to wear makeup. Now, the women in holiness not wearing makeup, our skin is super healthy. It does take some time to get there, but typically women in holiness, our skin is so healthy. One, because of our diet, but then 2, because we're not packing on a lot of makeup. So the women who do wear makeup, they have to wear makeup. And sometimes when a man says he likes a woman with no makeup, you actually like a woman with minimum makeup. What does minimum makeup look like? Saying that she kind of just has a couple of little things of concealer under her eye. She put on a little brightener under the eye, put on a little blush, put on a little lip gloss, a little lip liner, did her eyebrows, filled it in a little bit, and did a little mascara. To a man would say she does not have on makeup, but a woman will look at her and clock the T that she do. Okay, so that's something. And I remember I had someone tell me, I said, oh yeah, I mentioned to them that their woman was wearing makeup, and they got so aggressive. They was like, my woman doesn't wear makeup. And I'm like, I ain't even say nothing. I said, because I know better. I know concealer when I see it. And I'm a brown girl. And if you're lighter than me, I know you. That's one thing I know my light-skinned sisters can't stand, is that when they get a bruise, a pimple, or something, it just shows up on the skin. Oh, I know y'all can't stand that. I'm so sorry y'all got to go through that, because y'all, and yeah. Anyway, so thank you for that comment, Patrick T. You said, well, speaking honestly, those are accessories were attractive to me at some point in the past. Just being honest. Thank you, TNT, for being honest. There are men who like the girls who got the eyelashes. Though there is a very vast majority of them who don't, there are men who do like the girls with the lashes. You know, it is what it is. So thank you, thank you, thank you. You said it's very hard to date a woman of your same faith because the devil is going to get in that day to keep you from having a Christian marriage and Christian kids. Very hard and very disappointing. It can be. It can be. I'm learning. I'm like, man, I'm thankful that I prayed to the Lord to send me someone that I can grow with spiritually, because I'm actually glad that the person that I'm glad that where I am now is not to a point where I feel like being with another person who's not on this level will be bringing me down. It's like you can grow together, and it kind of holds me to be more accountable. So Patrick T, in a sense, I don't know, like I think I can agree with that. The devil is going to be definitely trying to have his hand in different marriages, especially a Christian marriage, a holy marriage. However, both of you need to have, and you know this already, Patrick T, because you are a I don't know what title you have in the church, but with that being said, you have to have God at the beginning and the end, and he has to be first, because the devil will try you guys. The devil will try your husband. He gonna try your wife. He gonna get in them churn. It's just, you just got to be prayerful. You got to be so prayerful, especially when you have two people that can just make 4th of July. You have to be so prayerful, and you have to protect that union, because the devil will be lurking. The devil wants to pull it apart. So you have to make sure that you are solid. All right, guys, I'm going to just go ahead and keep going. She says, I've definitely allowed insecurities to influence my behavior towards others. I wrestle with and talk to God about a lot of wicked stuff, about wicked self. And I've apologized to people on a few occasions. Oh my God, Ola, that is beautiful. Thank you for saying that. Some of these questions I'm gonna just skip, guys, because we've already been on live too long, and I don't want to keep talking. We can talk all night, but for the most part, for sure, TNT says, I love a natural face. Absolutely. A natural face is gonna give all the time. He says he's an evangelist. Thank you so much for clarifying that, Patrick T. I did not want to disrespect you and say that you were something that you weren't. So thank you so much for letting us know that you are an evangelist. Thank you so much for clarifying that. So yes, guys, I think this was a beautiful conversation. It was funny. It was fruitful. We laughed. We had a good time. I have to go. Okay. The pharmacy closes at 6 p.m. It is 5:37. I gotta go. But I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, TNT. I'm so glad that you were here to join us. I think I might, think that this is a good little curve time for me to come on and talk. Going into 2026, guys, I really want to do better at being a mommy. So a lot of times when I do the content, I try to do it when Legend is, not here, so that when I'm home, I'm more focused on him. So therefore, moving into time, I'm going to try to organize this a little bit more. Unfortunately, I may not be able to do that all the time, but for the most part, we will. Shout out to my Truth of God family. I love you guys so much. Please share this video on Facebook or on your YouTube channel. Let's invite more people to hear the conversation, because it was really, really, really good, and we had such a good time. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to my mods. Shout out to my beautiful sisters and brothers in Christ. And shout out to y'all in the background. Shout out to Sister Stacy for sponsoring this video by donating $19.98 to us. We appreciate it so much. Shout out to all of you that make the conversation beautiful. And until next time, guys, we'll talk later. Bye. And Happy New Year. I'm so glad we can say that. In holiness, we can be like, Happy New Year. I'm so happy.